Good morning, everybody. First of all, I try to start my speech with a little bit rough wordings. Why is energy efficiency so unsexy? If it's so cost effective, if it's very important for the economic situation of our cities, if it has so many positive benefits, I think the answer is that it's really an unsexy story. And we have to think about how we can translate it into a better future-oriented message. Because if we are talking about new energy, solar, wind power, every mayor wants to stand in front of such a wonderful energy-producing unit. But if you're looking for the mayors who are standing in front of a building and it shows nothing than a mayor and a building, there is no story behind it. And I think this is the big problem of the energy efficiency or the not existing megawatt power plant which we wanted to implement in Europe and in our cities. But I just want to give you a small message what a small city in Europe has done, and many other cities in Europe are going just the right and same way. Here you can see a very historical city in Germany. This is Heidelberg, and we had the lucky situation that Heidelberg is really a science hub in Europe, the oldest university in Germany. All the DAX companies have their headquarters in Heidelberg, SAP, Heidelberg Printing Press, and so on. And all these employees in these companies, they are looking for a place where you think global and act local. That is very easy then for the political persons like a mayor to implement global strategies on a local scale. But it's very important to have this at the beginning. This is also the reason why, for example, we buy 100% green energy for all municipal buildings. We have a certified forest program, not only FSC, also other standards. We have a very good economic situation in our city because of the big impulse of the institutes, and therefore we have in this situation also money which many other cities don't have. We have very low unemployment. So we are a very dynamic city and have already reached lots of national and international awards for sustainable movement and for climate protection. And the result for this was that from the beginning on, 20 years ago already, we started with a big public campaign about what can a city do in the field of climate protection. So it's a long way of discussing this topic with the citizens, with the NGOs, with the industry, with the companies. This is very important when you then have these targets. Where are the fields where you can work? For example, here, private households or municipal buildings is only 3% of the CO2 emissions of our cities, but the rest is near classic for a city like Heidelberg. But we started with this 3% municipal buildings because we wanted to show a good example. Without this message, you couldn't work with the citizens, you couldn't work with the industry. That's the reason why we started with a clear strategy, clear concepts, biannual reports since nearly 15 years, starting with energy management and controlling our energy consumption in our buildings, buying green energy, implementing energy teams in schools, so trying to get the young generation integrated into our programs. And that's the result after the last 12 years of working in these fields. We reduced the gas 46%, oil 86%, electricity 41% in this period. We have reached a reduction of all municipal buildings, not just one or two model buildings, for more than 50% in the last 12 years. And the result for this is not because we have money, because we didn't have money. The first big step was that we created a new department. We implemented about 3 new energy managers, top paid, have a better knowledge than the industry or others, because you have to battle with them if you're trying to handle out contracts. And then we noticed that we didn't have money for the renovation program. And the first thing what we have done was thinking about contracting. And nearly all the heating, the insulation is done in Heidelberg by contracts. Very small contracts with very small companies, not with the big companies. This is a tremendous work for the energy management department, but they handled it. We create our own energy contracts, so only paid if the kilowatts are reduced, not only the costs, which is very important if you have an own energy utility, because then it's one pocket and the other pocket, and therefore you have to think about this. So it was very effective, but only because we used contracts, and we implemented knowledge in the city. Without this, no concept, no implementation. These are also in the new buildings, our concepts. I think it's the first passive house fire brigade. It's not looking like a fire brigade anymore. It's a 1.5 liter fire brigade or 15 kilowatt hour. I try to give the message always in liter because it's better compatible with cars. Or here, this is a sports gym in the underground, very efficient. And now we're creating a new city which is 100% zero emission free. I think it's globally the biggest area under construction, 100% passive house area. And we could only implement this because we buy the whole land. We were not allowed to implement the standard by national law or by European law. It's not allowed. We couldn't force the people to reduce the energy bill to a standard of 1.5 liter. But if we are the owner of the ground, we could force them. You get only the permit or the land if you fulfill in a private contract with the city the passive house standard. In the middle, the new campus area, integrating also kids to get the parents aware that retrofitting is very efficient, creating energy tables where we're sitting together with craft and trade chamber, architects, building companies, and we noticed that what we have done in the city, in a small puzzle piece, in the 3%, get the knowledge into the city and then start the program. We need those structures also for the citizens. So we need an own energy department for private households. We call it energy agencies, which are now giving the support to the private households for free, how they can make the retrofitting, what is efficient, what is not efficient, creating in our regions by spreading from 1.2% retrofitting to 2.5%, about more than 1,000 jobs in our area, and having also installed from the city a direct energy efficiency subsidy program by cash money. This is also very important because so many house owners are not reacting if they get credits, they are reacting if they get cash money. Not in much, but just as an impulse, it's very important. And we have about 1.3 million euro per year as a private incentive program by the city. That's about €4 per capita, and we have a turn of about 10 million euro just through this program. And the interesting thing was, this is not an environment program. This is not an environmental program. This was set up as a job creation machine. This was the reason why the industry, this was the reason why also the conservative parties in the city council said, yes, we spend so much money in this job creation program. So make it more clear. This is all the programs. Over 80 million euro are invested through this program in Heidelberg, just in a small city over the last year. I think it's quite a big number. And we're also working together with industries. Now we have more than 100 companies which were telling how they could reduce their energy costs and their waste costs, like nachhaltiges Wirtschaften. There are several names for this, but also they need the support from us, like the agency, to run these steps. So, but nothing without participation. Having all created these programs with a big civil cooperation and participation process. A small example from a city. Many thanks for your attention. Thank you.